Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 18th.
Holy moly, Wednesday already. Wow.
Yes, and that means it's New Comic Book Day, and welcome to This Week in Geek. I'm your host, Paul.
This is Aaron.
And let's jump right into it. New releases this week, Aaron.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I am kind of excited for... There's a new Spider-Man.
Yes.
And that looks really, really good. And... I mean, did you have a chance to take a look at it?
I didn't see the preview. I've heard about it. This is the one. It's a brand new title. It's what?
Just Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I thought there was like a subtitle called Nepotism or something like that.
I don't believe so. I think it's just Spider-Man, just like the old Spider-Man that was McFarlane.
The joke just went over your head.
It did. I'm trying to get us through this so we're not, we're on track.
Sorry. A 5-issue limited series, right?
Yep, correct.
Written by JJ Abrams and his son Henry.
Henry, correct.
Okay. That's where I was referencing the nepotism.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I thought this was coming later in the year. I didn't realize it was already coming out.
They talked about it, I want to say a couple months ago, and I mean, time has really flown by. I mean, summer's over, the leaves are changing, so we're into fall. But it's they're doing this. Who is cadaverous? That's like the main thing. They're really not giving any information on it. They're just kind of showing a Spider-Man, McFarlane kind of ish Spider-Man. It looks like swooping in with, we assume, is Mary Jane, which is a redhead.
Right.
On the previews, and you have Sarah Pitchell and Oliver Coipel on there as well. So we know that it's going to be drawn
really good artwork.
And so. Definitely, I think, is going to be a pickup for me.
Yeah, we'll jump ahead to the what are you reading now, because that's definitely what I'm picking up.
Yeah, that's going to be one. I think Batman number 79 for DC. The whole kiss with Catwoman again. They kind of really were feeling out their feelings, and there's the whole like beach scene and whatnot in number 78. So I think 79 is really going to touch more on... It seemed, a couple months back, there was the whole wedding fiasco, where it got leaked, and then there wasn't, a whole lot of people knowing about it, and, it was in the newspaper. And so a lot of shops kind of got stuck with ordering so many of them because people knew about it,
Right.
And so with this, I think that they kind of kept it under the radar a little bit, and they're kind of revisiting that... playful cat and mouse, back and forth, if you will, and I'm excited for that. It's been a pretty good run so far, and then a new G.I. Joe title coming out from IDW, which is, I always like to see what they're going to do with G.I. Joe. Growing up in the 80s, your Cobra, and all that, and just all that stuff, and it brings me back to, when I got the flag, the toy, and I remember I told you about that story?
Yes.
My dad had a giant pool table in the basement, and I decided that I was going to put it on the pool table, and lo and behold, he was having, people over, and I tried to stand my ground, and I failed miserably, but, I remember having that, and so... seeing how they do like the Cobra and the G.I. Joe, bringing new characters, revisit the old characters. So that's going to be neat to see how they do that. So, and then of course, everyone knows this already. I'm a big Carnage guy. Continuing on to Carnage, and what's really going to be cool is these Carnage and not so much Carnage, but Venom Island covers that are going to be transitioning through. A bunch of the other Marvel titles, such as Excalibur, House of X, let's see, there's a bunch of them, and they're going to be just a regular title, just, it's not going to be the super, like, crazy variant, it's just going to be how they did, like, the Fantastic Fours a couple months back,
right.
It's just, you'll have a Captain Marvel, you'll have Fantastic Four, you're going to have... a bunch of them, if you will, and they're just going to be, just showing the, the Venom Island, and that's going to be, they're alluding to that with the, all the Carnage stuff that we have going on. So
is this going to basically be fallout from that? That we're figuring?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing is that we're going to be seeing more of a playoff, if you will, because in the last Venom that came out last week, that was a really interesting storyline, and it showed Eddie's son being really almost being a mini Venom, and really trying to save Osborn and stand up to Carnage, and it really was a good run. But anyway, I'm rambling. So those are kind of what I'm looking forward to. The Marvel takeover is going to be with the different covers: Excalibur, Fantastic Four, Captain Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man, Black Cat, Miles Morales, and Valkyrie are all going to have those covers. So,
and something that caught my eye on the Excalibur one, Wolverine's back in his brown costume.
Yeah. It's I don't know if that's really going to be him staying around for like a good long time. It looks. I mean, there was also Gambit and Rogue on there too. So maybe they're just kind of throwing back to the old X days. When it was there was X Factor, Excalibur, X-Men. And maybe just kind of harking back to that. I don't know.
Well, that would be disappointing. That's my favorite costume. Is his the brown costume.
That was when Wolverine was Wolverine.
Yes. Now he has like
Bub.
hot claws or something.
Yeah, magical claws that heat up like cut through anything. Well, they cut through anything already, but
right.
I mean
now
they
like
just
something we needed.
glow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of my picks. What about you?
Well, I figure another one to watch out for since issue 1 was so popular. Once in Future #2.
Oh yeah, that really is something that they did the. I think they were up to like a 6th printing at this point.
I think that's coming out this week, the 6th printing.
And that's
today. I mean, not this week.
It's kind of amazing that a book that came out so recent is already that quickly onto a 6th printing. But again, it touched on a little bit of Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, a little mysticism, and I think really more of a King Arthur-esque kind of story.
Yeah.
So it looks like something that it really could be a great read. And, if they really focus on the art like they did in the first one, I think it would be worthwhile picking up as well.
Outstanding. I might actually catch up on this one this time. And then this caught my eye, and it's a book that I haven't been reading. Tony Stark Iron Man, #16. This is going to be the jumping on point for the Ultron agenda. Yeah.
It's as much as I love Marvel, and they really have my heart in terms of my favorite characters. We just went through the whole world, turn up and down with, the different realms and Thor and Loki and everything that there were so many titles that transpired, from that massive crossover that we just did. And I don't know, my brain is not working right now.
It was War of Realms.
War of Realms, that's right, yeah. So with War of Realms, it went through everything, and every single character had something in it. I mean, we saw a brand new Venom, with crazy jeweled, that outfit that was given by a crazy little witch. We saw Ghost Rider in a crazy, costume as well. And so we just went through all that, and now they're getting into this, Ultron thing, and I'm really hoping that they're going to look more into the Ultron, not so much as necessarily like the bad guy, but Ultron as maybe as a fixer. And from what I'm reading, it looks like that they're setting it up so whereas the machines, the robots are the good guys this time, and Tony and his friends need to decide what side of the spectrum they're on. So, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. And,
interesting.
There was a preview that I saw on Previews World where it showed, Vision kind of being, dissected, if you will, in this machine, and was talking about, engram, brain engrams and whatnot, and it looks like they're trying to bring the more humanitarianism, kind of the humanism, if you will, not humanitarianism, the humanism to it. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Anything when it'll jump off. You gotta pick it up, take a look at it. It may be worth grabbing, and maybe worth waiting to see where they go with it. So definitely, I agree to at least pick it up and take a look at it, Paul.
Right, it sounds good. I didn't see anything of interest in new collections coming out this week. I know there was an Epic collection coming and a Thor Marvel Masterwork. Nothing that really caught my eye. Nothing that I'm saying go out and grab.
No, it was. Last week's with the Hush. That one was my go-to. Nothing so much. Really, it looks like a light week in terms of graphic novels and hardbacks. They're really pushing the soft covers and the new comics this week. So
I say we move on to your favorite segment, the toy box.
My toy box. Oh yes. So I know, talking to a lot of people, the hunt at Walgreens, the infamous Walgreens figures that everyone is out and about looking for. Here in upstate New York, Syracuse area. I have gone around and checked out, and there's a couple stores that seem to get stuff pretty regularly, and there's some that just you'll see it 2 months later. Walgreens is so hit or miss, and the crazy thing is that they went up online last week, and they sold out in like 15 minutes.
Really?
Completely sold out off the website, and I can't remember any Walgreens figures other than Funkos, selling out that quickly. We had the Emma Frost, that came out, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, and this one was, she was in white. This one she's in black, so definitely
in a much better sculpt.
Oh yeah, the face, the facial, sculpt, everything is so much better now. Technology has gotten better, but talked to a couple people. Some people have been able to order it online. Some people have been looking around the stores. Nothing really local as of right now. The typical rule of thumb, when you see on Facebook things starting to pop up that, hey, I picked this up, and you see it's in California, Colorado, you go about 3 weeks, and then it finally hits the East Coast to distribution wise.
They kind of just trickle across the country.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'd say this week would probably be a good week to really start calling up, and if you really want to get it, and of course on our Facebook page, if you find something and you have a good hit, and take a picture of it, put it up there. Let's pass that around and give some kudos out there for that hunt. Definitely. I say share the wealth. Share the experience. So
I agree. Let's kind of dive into like the retrospective of these Walgreens exclusive. Should have pounded that beer before the they've had quite a few Walgreens exclusives, right? Oh
yeah, entire run of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I was going to say they've had some really good ones.
They had that the Iron Doom. They've had, let's see, Silver Surfer.
Part of the Fantastic Four set.
Yep. They did I believe they did a Spider-Man. Maybe not Spider-Man. Got my brain racking now.
Because there's been a lot of them.
There has been, and it's been the last about 2 years that they really stepped up, and they started going for it. And honestly, I know why. What did we lose about 2 years ago?
Toys R Us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Toys R Us disappeared.
They were doing it before Toys R Us disappeared, though, because I remember one of the first ones I remember them doing was yellow costume Daredevil with the Matt Murdock head.
Oh, yeah, that is true. I did forget about him. So that was that definitely was one of the first ones, and I think I'd say, let me rephrase that. They've picked up their game since they've gotten the downfall of Toys R Us. So.
Better figures, yeah. Because I remember they did Black Ant, which he was a villain character from Ant-Man.
I don't think I remember that guy.
Yeah, he was a very short-lived character.
Oh.
But it was perfect. That's when they reused that buck to do the retro Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then, like you said, they did all the Fantastic Four, Surfer, Doom. Not a classic Doom. They did the not Invincible. What was
Iron
it?
Doom.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
And then
I know there's been a ton more, and I want
to say there's a Punisher.
Yes.
Yep, there was a Punisher.
And a Namor.
And a Namor, yep.
Yes.
Yep. There was a... who else was there? Wasn't a Scarlet Witch.
Nope.
You know what? Next week, I'm going to have the list.
Full list. I like
Full list. We're going to run through that. That way we're not, just, throwing out our favorite characters.
Right. Magic. And upcoming, we have a New Mutant set.
Yeah.
It comes with 3 different heads.
3 different heads, a bow and arrow, some other hands, and definitely, I mean, just a very basic sculpt, figure-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as if they're doing that to transition into the, there really hasn't been a whole lot of New Mutants characters,
No.
X-Force-wise. Also, well, I say there have been some X-Force characters, but not the Jim Lee era, 90s X-Force characters.
No, that's what we got. That's what we got with Cannonball and Cable.
Well,
all the Liefeld ones. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. You got me on that one.
We haven't gotten the classic, like the Bill Sienkiewicz
New
Mutants.
Yes, wrong characters.
That's all right. I mean, Cannonball was an original, but we didn't get him in that costume.
Yeah.
The one that they're doing is, I guess, a 2000s era costume for the New Mutants, and it's going to have heads for Wolfsbane. Not Magma. God, I'm going to fuck this one up too. Danny Moonstar, and the other one that starts with an M.
I'm going to run to Google and see what it comes up with. Let's see.
But while you're doing that, I'll move on to the next rumored one. Is we're getting, and it's going to go along great with this Emma Frost. It's the Stepford Cuckoos.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be cool.
Another one with I think it's going to be a few different heads because they're like triplets or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are triplets, and they all feed off of each other, and it's definitely cool to see them again doing all these kind of random characters that there may not be a super huge audience for, but yet you get them to fill your collection up,
Oh, without a doubt. And it goes, like I said, it goes well with it's going to be a good X-Men collection one.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, so let's see. We have Domino, we have Boom Boom, we have Cable, we have Cannonball. There's a new Deathlock coming out. We already have a Shatterstar, and there's a Warpath.
Mm-hmm. Warpath, very hard to find.
Very hard. Let's see. We have a Psylocke. We have an Archangel. We have a Bishop. We have Caliban, Colossus, Cyclops, Deadpool, Feral.
That would be nice. We haven't gotten her yet.
Nope.
But with that sculpt for Wolfsbane, they could do something with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the third head in there is Karma, not an M at all. Just
okay.
So
Nightcrawler already done. Storm, Wolverine, and of course X-23. So I mean, there's a lot of X-Force out there.
Mm-hmm.
So way to go. Again, another one that has been on the hunt that is out at GameStop most recently is the Wolverine with the cowboy hat.
Oh yeah,
that one did get released. There are some of those getting fulfilled with Hasbro Pulse, and there's also Big Time Spider-Man.
Yes, the black and green.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to be getting that one. I'm kind of waiting to see it up front to see if they basically took the original Big Time, which was the white and black, and just repainted it. There are already some scalpers, having it for, $29-$30. But again, guys, we know that with Amazon and Hasbro and every other place, listing it, it's going to be available. So
right, they're going to filter out.
Yeah,
they're coming.
To kind of wrap up this segment, the one that I did finally get was Beast. So
nice.
I finally got my Beast. As much as I was looking for it, I went into a local comic book shop, and guys, please check out your local comic book shops. You'd be surprised that sometimes they do have Marvel Legends, and there may be that one figure that you may not think is available, and it may be there. But I went into a local comic book shop, and they happened to have it, and it was marked kind of high. Just walked over, talked to the guy, and the nice thing with local comic book shops is that they will work with you for the most part. And picked up some dollar comics and some Shadowhawks actually, and just got a really great deal. So I'm pretty excited. Haven't opened them yet. I'm holding off. I want to open them, but I'm like, ugh. But I am an opener, so it'll be one of those things where I kind of just have that free time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open them and go for it. So,
right, there you go.
But I did get them, so I'm happy about that.
It's a good one.
Yes.
It's a very good figure.
Great sculpt.
A lot of people were pissed off about the face, that they didn't do a more calm face.
Like a Hank McCoy kind of with glasses kind of thing.
Yes.
I think they should have. They could have, easily.
It's coming, I guarantee. I guarantee there will be a repack of some way. And,
sure.
Yeah.
There always is.
Maybe with a lab coat or...
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe with the ability for him to hang upside down, like
that would be
magnets
pretty awesome.
or something on his feet. That'd be cool.
I could dig that.
Absolutely.
All right, move on to it. I know you're itching to get into the Black Series.
My Black Series, yes. So again, Force Friday, is on its way. Triple Force Friday, and again, some new stuff they're talking about is, the Mandalorian. Super excited for that TV show. I mean, it looks so damn good. Mm-hmm. They're saying that there's going to possibly be like a chase figure now.
Really?
Yeah. So again, this is all skeptical, information. Nothing locked down yet, because no one's gotten anything. Mm-hmm. But what they're saying is that there is a possibility that there'll be. So Target is having what's called a copper Mandalorian figure. So it's just labeled Mandalorian copper. There also is a Rey that is labeled Rey white, and there is a Sith Trooper that is labeled Sith Trooper white. And like we were talking about last week with the different packages, how there was going to be the white, that one white package for the Sith. Now there's going to be a Rey one. So I'm wondering if they're either going to put them in the case assortment as a chase, or is that going to be a kind of just a day of, or is it going to be an exclusive? We got the Chewbacca for Target.
Yes.
That was just for Target.
And he's still hanging around.
And he's still hanging around. There was the trooper that had the guillotine, weapon.
Oh, the executioner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And so, you still find them flipping around. So, if they were to have changed that packaging up, it may have drawn more people out. Mm-hmm. Again, like anything, we're going to, all those flippers we love out there that are just going to buy it because they think it's cool, put it up, and charge an arm and a leg for it, and then the people that are true collectors, like you and I and our listeners, they're going to get out there, and they're going to do their best to get out there, and they may not have it because they know a buddy who works there, or a friend that she works there, whatnot. So definitely, I'm curious to see how they mitigate that, if it's true, and, of course, my finger is on that pulse. I am watching that to see, because I am going to be one of those crazy people with my boy Dylan. Shout out Dylan. Going around, driving like a bat out of hell to get within the speed limits, of course, to get to different stores to, get our collection. Because, we love our figures. And, again, we're not buying them to take them and flip them. We're buying them because we love them. We want to put them on the shelf. And to say we play with them, I wouldn't say we play with them. We pose them, put them on the shelf, and then move on. So I get kind of questioned, well, what do you do with your figures? I open them, I pose them, I put them away. And they just sit there, and they gain dust. But it's cool because you look at them, and they're like, wow, look at this. So, again, that's kind of what we're looking at for the Black Series. Also, the Second Sister is going to have a graphite box and a graphite outfit as opposed to her standard black. That may or may not be the GameStop exclusive. So,
Gotcha.
We'll see, again, as it gets closer, we'll see that. There has been a couple Canadian Walmarts that have unfortunately released the figures already by accident.
Really?
And they got, again, it's Walmart, so what is a fine to them,
Right.
you know? They got a little fine. They said, oopsie, some lucky guy went and took pictures, put it on the internet, and, you know, so you can see them. Some really cool figures coming out, and also they have the minis, so like the little, the ships.
Yeah.
They have a whole new wave of those coming out, and then, of course, the Hot Wheels cars. So people that collect, you know, pretty much anything for the new movie and The Mandalorian is going to have something to grab onto. So that's my bit on my Black Series.
Fantastic. Now, we were actually sent a book.
Yes, a big book.
We teased it at the end of the last episode. This is, and you've read it.
Yes, I did.
It is called Sons of Chaos, created by Chris James and Al Aragon. It's an IDW book.
Yes, it is.
And you want to take it from here?
Sure. I really loved the art in it. The page layout. It is a wide format book. So, you know, it's a landscape book, if you will. And what I mean by landscape is, of course, the format. It's wider, and, you know, the pages, you know, are separated by, you know, book 1, chapter, etc., which is really neat because it's very Arabian Nights-esque / Robin Hood / you know, very 300 Frank Miller-esque. So, you know, the muted colors, the vague facial expressions, you know, a lot of that is in there, and, you know, it really it does a good job of telling a story. It is violent. Mm-hmm. You know, it is obviously an adult book, but, you know, all in all, it does a good job telling a story beginning to end. And leaving it so you know, if you are into that kind of the Arab motif, the Sultanesque genre, that really falls into that. So I'd say anyone which is a fan of our 300, you know, Frank Miller artwork, and in general, just you know, I mean, Aladdin just came out a little while ago, and a lot of people have been, you know, looking at that and saying, you know, the Aladdin story, you know, there could be, you know, it could be, you know, transitioned into or turned into more of an adult movie, and this does a good job of showing the, you know, that whole area, the Middle Eastern, you know, the hero, the bad guy, all set in, you know, that time frame.
Mm-hmm. I just pulled the PR sheet that came with it. This is the telling of the Greek War for Independence from 1821. As seen through the eyes of Marcos Butsaris, the son of a respected Greek leader taken prisoner as a child and raised in the dungeons of history's most infamous Ottoman Pasha, Ali Pasha of Ioannina, known as the Napoleon of the East.
The jail.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is a 192-page full-color hardcover book. Like you said, very panoramic, very widescreen. It's 13.5 inches by 10.5 inches.
Big book.
Hardcover, like I said, by IDW. I believe this came out in July.
Yep.
And we've had this for a while. I've been saving this because I knew this show was coming. In an expensive book. It's a $40 book.
It really is, but I think the reason for that is because, again, anything that has to do with any type of history, storytelling, specifically in the Ottoman Empire, specifically in that, there isn't a lot of that, you know, graphic novel-esque of that time period. So I think it does, you know, the price point is valid for what you get out of it. You know, you get full page, really beautiful, you know, muted tones, and it does it's a really easy to follow book. in terms of, you know, the left to right, you know, kind of jumping, and it's not bubbles. Everything is separated by lines. Everything is very, you know, I'd say, like choppy, like like ninja style, like long separations. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, if this is your thing, like the history style stories, pick this thing up. It is phenomenal, gorgeously illustrated, and God, I love that cover.
I look at it, I'm like, oh, it just brings me to 300. You know,
yeah,
it just draws me in. So anyone that's a fan of those movies, anyone that is a fan of this era, you know, storytelling, like I mentioned before, like the Aladdin kind of stories, you know, stuff like that. Even the Sinbad, you know, I mean, it doesn't, you know, necessarily harken back to Sinbad, but I mean, you have those outfits, you have that motif there. So I really enjoyed it. It was a really good read. So
it's like a grand epic feel to it.
Yes, way to go, IDW.
Yes, and thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And hope we did you. Did you proud?
We did him proud. I think so.
What else have you got lined up? Because otherwise, we have what you're reading.
Trying to think. Facebook page. You know,
please,
we talked about that earlier. We're getting that going. There's going to be links to stuff in it. I started kind of working on it, and it looks like, you know, when you listen to the podcast, you can, you know, if you see something like we were talking about the Marvel Legends, you can like it, and you can do, you know, links to it. I've made it so it's very interactive between us and our listeners. So, you know, and we want that feedback. We want to know what you guys are interested in and what your hot buttons, if you will. Right?
Definitely.
And so listen to it, you know, and if we make a mistake, you know what? I'm not bashful. Paul's not bashful. You know, I mean, you don't got to splatter across the page, but you know what? Tell us so we can correct that, and you know, and then we can give you a shout out that you caught that. So definitely, we appreciate you guys listening, and we want there to be that give and take. We want that interaction. So we're gonna get that Facebook page going, and I'm doing the Italian hand things, and Paul's looking at me like I'm juggling over here. I'm just excited about it. I'm excited to you know another method of touching base with our listeners and, you know, getting to them what they're looking at. So
right. Yeah, check it out. You can find it on Facebook. It's facebook.com/thisweekindgeekpod. And
yes.
not like the flagship Geek with 3s. It's actually Geeks with E's on this one. Just I couldn't use This Week in Geek. That was already taken.
Of course.
So yeah, go check us out. Give it a like. Follow us and start talking with us. I know for a fact we've already posted the full rundown from Previews World with all the new releases that are out today.
Yep.
So you can reference that as well. And so let's take us out. Aaron, what are you reading this week?
So, you know, we're going to be looking at Carnage. We're going to be looking at Spider-Man, Batman, and I really am interested to see what the G.I. Joe is going to be. But also, one that I didn't touch on that I have been reading is Transformers versus Ghostbusters. They're on issue number 4, I believe, right now. And if you're a Transformers fan or a Ghostbusters fan, pick it up. It's a great read. Really enjoyed it. And, you know, it's kind of cool how they're, you know, doing ghosts as the sparks, if you will. So, you know, Starscream is a spark, you know, Megatron is a spark, you know, but they're ghosts.
Nice.
And Ecto is Ecto-1, but he's a Transformer.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that's one that I didn't mention last week that I wanted to mention this week. So, kind of just sticking with my Carnage, Spider-Man, Batman, and, you know, to see what they got for G.I. Joe.
Outstanding. And the only other one I want to mention is the History of the Marvel Universe. That's been a really cool series. It's definitely for, like, comic nerds. Like, just completely going through the whole thing. I think this issue that's coming out this week is issue 3, and I think we're finally starting to touch on like the the blossoming of the Marvel universe itself.
Yes, the seeds that we've now had the last couple issues where the seeds were planted by the Eternals and whatnot, and now we're seeing what it's transitioning into, and how it became what it is. So definitely, if you haven't read it, take a look at it, pick it up again, and maybe something that I haven't been purchasing it, but I have been taking a gander at it, and been living vicariously through Paul's explanation of it for me. So, but yeah, this sounds awesome, Paul.
All right, well, that's all I have there this week.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job touching base on everything. And again, guys, thanks so much for listening. Big shout out to all our listeners. Most specifically, our local comic book shops. Thank you so much. For taking care of all our geeks out there, and we really do appreciate that. And if there's anything that you as a listener, if you are a local comic book shop that you think that we could do, or if you want to even work with us, give us a shout out. Because we would love to be able to facilitate that for you and bring more people into our realm of geek. So that's pretty much it, Paul.
All right. Until next week, guys. Have a week.
See you guys.
This has been a GeekPod Network production. Show notes and links to our social media can be found on our webpage, www.geekpod.com. That's G33kpod.com. Want to help us out? Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Reviews really help keep us on the charts. Thanks, guys, and see you next time.